everyone, and welcome back to today's video. So today I'm going to be teaching you how I color skin traditionally. I see a lot of tutorials very often that just don't show how to color skin traditionally, so I wanted to do that for you guys. This is super sped up. I'm using a few alcohol markers, which is the first medium I am using here, and I am using the lightest color in the Copic skin tone set. I'm very grateful to have it. It's an extension of my Ohuhu set that I got around 4 years ago, probably going on 5 right now. And I just pick each color, I do the blending. It's quite great, honestly. And I just gradually go darker with the gradients I have. I usually try to pick a warmer color to the skin tone if I can. And then I go in with a darker pink color. And here you are seeing R11, which is from my Ohuhu set, which is basically for the deepest shadows. When I color skin with alcohol-based markers, I like to do a gradual gradient, shifting back from each of my colors. Especially when you're working with markers, you need to have in-between shades and blending and gradients where they easily fade into each other. These are all the markers I used. Feel free to pause to collect all the caps. And then we're moving on to colored pencils, which are slightly more complicated than alcohol markers. One thing about alcohol markers is that they're very simple to use. You basically put down a color and then you can just keep going with it. You can't really pick up an alcohol marker or, continue on. Here I am showing you all the colors I used for my colored pencils. I have my skin tone, which is a darker tan color. I have red, orange, a pink color, and a purple, and I'm going to explain in further depth what each of these do as we go on in the sort of time-lapse / tutorial. So first things first, I'm going to grab my base color. Depending on whether you're doing a lighter skin tone or a darker skin tone, it doesn't really matter, just make sure you have a base. Also, keep in mind when you're doing certain lighting for your art. I'm doing this in fairly neutral lighting, so there's going to be one light source, no harsh shadows really. And starting out with my colored pencils, I just lightly go over the area of the skin that I want to color in. That being the neck, the face, and the hand. I'm going to work on the hand in intervals, so I'm mostly going to be referring to the face and neck when I talk about coloring. As the process goes on, I like to lightly layer my colored pencils. There are a ton of different ways to use your colored pencils, and the way I like to use them is to slowly build up tone, value, and color. I know a lot of artists tend to go full on in with their colored pencils, but I like the texture, I like the cross hatching. It just makes the drawing feel more traditional. I think that's one of the great perks, is sort of the imperfections when it comes to drawing on pencil and paper. After moving on with my base color, I choose a red. I have an extensive set of colored pencils, but you can really do this with only 3 to 4 colors. I chose 5 because I'm extra. All you need is a base, and then an in-between shade color, and then your actual shading color. So the red is my blush, that is my shading color, and then this orange here is my in-between color, which I'm going to blend the orange and red together to make a more seamless finish. As you're noticing here, I put it on the cheeks, nose, ears, and under the chin. That's usually the harshest shadow when you are doing this sort of indirect lighting, is underneath the chin and on the neck. And then I layer lightly and slowly. This process did take a little bit of time. In real time, I believe I was doing this in around 10 minutes took me the alcohol markers, and then around 20 minutes to do the colored pencils. I just like to work slowly and build up color very, slowly. And then I moved on to the pink as my final shading / blush color. I just like that it adds a bit of pop to my art. If you're going to do a shading color, I would also recommend pink. And then for your final shading, I would use a purple because purple is pretty great. I've seen a lot of online discourse about whether artists should be using purple as shading or not. And use whatever colors that makes you happy. I love drawing and I love using fun colors. It's half the reason why I enjoy coloring so much. And also you notice that I put in some line art. These are just using darker versions of the colors that I already have on the page. So I used a dark red and a dark brown. This is just for accents. You can do your line art in whatever color you please. I just personally like making my line art colorful when I am working with my colored pencils. So I add my purple to whatever places I need shading. Under the neck is usually where the color is the deepest, and then I just slowly build up from there. And then I'm going to finish off doing the hair and other details. I just sped run this process because this wasn't the most important part of the tutorial. And yeah, I would love to hear your feedback on this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you need any help in the future, I'm going to be posting a digital version of this so you can have the details to know how to color traditionally and digitally. So this is part 1, so come back for part 2. That's a sneak peek right there. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you'd like to see other tutorials in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!